Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 108. Gumbo Live, the number one-est Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. Well, it's number one on Tuesday nights at 8:31. So let's get that clear. Our special guests tonight, we got Dean and Jon from MeepleTown Podcast. Board Game Gumbo is a proud member of Punchboard Media. Hey, check out some of our other fine members like Cards or Die. Anne is passionate about the board game hobby and about bringing people together. And it shows on her blog. Check out each installment where she reviews games and talks about life in general. That's Cards or Die. Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Hey, hit us up on social media tonight, on Twitter or on Facebook at Board Game Gumbo, and we'll be looking for your questions in the chat crew. But enough blather. Let's get right to our guests. We got Johnny Summertime and Dean. What's up?
Right. What's up, BJ?
Johnny Summertime.
Johnny Summertime or Johnny Crawfish. Johnny
I
Crawfish.
can tell you listen to the podcast, BJ. Because every episode starts with one of those. Good job.
John, if the chat crew were actually watching tonight, they would see Dean is wearing a tour shirt from Sister Hazel during the show right now.
That is actually probably right. That's
totally listen to the podcast.
Do I have my cred? Do I have my street cred? Come on, man.
You nailed it. I want to know if anyone out there likes Sister Hazel. Because
hey, BJ does.
He
does. Yeah, there's more than one fan out there, John. We have at least two.
I'm not hating on them at all. I just don't remember. I know they had the one-hit song, and that's all I can remember from them. So whenever you busted out their name and you're like, they're one of my favorite bands, I'm like, what?
So I was telling Dean the story in the green room before you got on that I did not know them from that song from Party of Five. I knew them from Hootie and a couple other bands that they had toured with. So I picked up this album. Absolutely. I fell in love with it. And somebody said, oh, yeah, that's that Party of Five group. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even know the song. And then, of course, when I heard the song, Dean, I just never put two and two together. Now, you know the harmonies. You can tell it's the same band.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So you know what an elevator pitch is. We can talk about Sister Hazel all night. What we should do is let you guys give us the elevator pitch. Who is MeepleTown and where is it? Where is MeepleTown?
MeepleTown is
it's a state of mind, BJ.
Yes. Also, slightly south of Nashville, there is a little town called MeepleTown. We're founders of MeepleTown, and we mostly talk about Sister Hazel music. I mean, that is what we are known for, and just a bunch of nonsense. But we are
with an occasional board game thrown in there.
That's we do talk about some 80s movies, that sort of thing. But our big thing is that we are trying to strengthen communities through board gaming. We think that getting people together around the table is a great way to have conversation, get to know people, and that's what we want to do is just strengthen those communities.
We got
with some tomfoolery.
Exactly.
With some tomfoolery. Right. We do have a little of that.
Hey, it's a live show tonight. And so we got a couple of people checking in. Patrick Newman, the dive expert, and also a big ocean board game fan. So
excellent.
Patrick, checking out. Hey, if you got any questions for them tonight. And then a fellow musician. Now, I don't know if Topher has actually played with Sister Hazel, but he may have. For all I know, hopefully Chris Graves will let us know. But Topher's a big musician, been doing it for 40 years. So we have a lot of musicians. Are either one of you guys play music?
We live in Nashville. You have to. I mean,
everybody plays music in Nashville.
Everyone
that's right.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Well, never mind. I can move you around the room, but I
went to Nashville one time, and a couple of times. But I went to Nashville, and we were doing some recording. While we were up there, we went to this little tiny bar, and it was our first time. We were typical rubes, like we're literally carrying our suitcases into the bar. This is how much of a rube we were. And everywhere we looked, there were people. And the bar, we were like, hey, is this a place where a lot of guitarists come? And the bartender's like, man, you're in Nashville. Everywhere you look, there's a guitarist. You can throw a stick and hit a guitarist, man. You're in Nashville. And so, I really like the town, though. Really cool town.
Yeah. It's interesting living here and working in Nashville and how many people come here to make it that just don't make it because they're so good. There's so many great musicians that never make it, that no one ever gets to hear. And it's cool.
The very first band I was ever in, a terrible, terrible garage band. Our guitarist is still in Nashville. He owns a studio up there, still does all kind of recording. It's like, he said, if you're going to do music, you got to be in Nashville. So that is awesome.
That's right.
Got a couple of people checking in. Thomas is checking in. Hey, Thomas, you got any questions? Thomas always has good questions, so be prepared for him.
Oh, all right.
You're making me nervous.
So Topher is actually in a band with Jim Belushi.
What?
And he was telling us
crazy.
a story. Yeah, he was telling us a story that he missed one gig. He played like a series of gigs with him. He missed one gig, and that was the one gig that Dan Aykroyd sat in on.
What?
Unreal. Wow.
I missed my chance. Yep, up there in Oregon on his farm. So, what is it? Do you either one of you have an idea? What is it about musicians and board game? Johnny Pack, big musician. Glenn Flaherty, big musician. What is it about me? Jason Dinger from Captains of the Gulf, huge musician.
Yeah.
It's our great intelligence, BJ. We're just so smart, so creative. We just have to, Dean sings. Dean's not going to talk about playing music too much. He does play a little guitar, but he's actually a pretty good singer.
Not good enough to make it in Nashville, but I sing on occasion.
We might put a solo for us now.
I was going to say, we would put you on the spot if you could just do a quick improv board game song. Like just
a board game song? Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know if I'm that creative. That's why I didn't make it, guys. I couldn't just come up with board game songs on the spot, and so it crushed my career.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guests Jon and Dean from MeepleTown Podcast. A couple other checking in. Patrick says he hasn't been to Nashville, but he has been to Memphis, another great music town.
Yeah.
Down Beale Street.
Barbecue town. Yeah.
Barbecue town. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Look at the board gamers and the musicians. Marty from Rolling Dice and Taking Names. Another musician.
That's right.
Yeah. When we got on the show, I actually lost control of the show. Marty and Johnny and a couple others started talking about chord progressions. And, I stopped taking music lessons a long time ago. It's like, guys, can I have the show back after like 10 minutes? Like, can I have the show back?
Oh, my God.
Do you have a favorite chord, by the way, Jon or Dean, either one of y'all?
Oh, a favorite chord?
G, I would say. It's pretty standard, right? That's a good answer.
That was one of the things that they wanted to talk about. They wanted to talk about how much they loved a certain chord. So that was way, way over mine. I'm all about the melody and the lyrics. So,
yeah.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guests Dean and Jon from MeepleTown. And there's a game that you guys have played recently, a spicy game from our friend, Dr. Steve Finn. Why don't you guys tell us about Cosmic Run Regeneration?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'll jump in there. Jon and I played this together, and so we both got some things to say. But so we recently did a video for this that Jon might have just released, I think. Yeah. Okay, so I've never played the original game of this, the original Cosmic Run, but I've heard really good things. And Dr. Stephen reached out to Jon to get us to review this. Came out 2018, and it's a straight up push your luck game where you are leaving planet Earth to go find a new place to live. And so you're using your dice as like a way to get to those planets to live that are all ultimately going to be destroyed anyway. But you're pushing your luck to get points on those planets before they're destroyed and to get more points than the other players before they're destroyed. And that's it. It's just a dice chucking game that is a ton of fun. I mean, it is a blast. But there's a lot of good ways to mitigate the dice roll. So it's not just a luck fest. There's alien races that help you mitigate the way that the dice roll or change sides or different things like that. So I've really, really enjoyed this one a lot.
Jon, the original one was kind of a short game, really quick playing and a lot of push your luck. Same thing in this one with the Regeneration?
Yeah, this was 30 minutes, Dean, whenever we were playing it or something?
Yeah, now, 2 players, 30 minutes. Yeah.
Steve threw in like an Allies mini expansion, which I don't know. Look at all these. Hey, I like a good suspended chord, Steven, by the way. I almost said, I don't know exactly chord, but I like a nice suspended chord.
We're losing control of the show, Dean.
It's getting derailed right off the bat. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so there's a little mini expansion that makes it pretty nice. It adds a lot to it. It kind of a little bit of an engine building thing because you can get cards that give you like a crystal every time or something like that. I'm not a huge dice chucker. If you listen to our show, I'm more of a midweight Euro guy. But Steve does this really great job of making games that are super accessible, but they still scratch my brain itch, that give me something to think about. He mitigates the dice rolls, like Dean said. And I had a good time playing this. It's not like my favorite game or anything, but I thought it was a very solid game that Dean and I had a hoot playing, didn't we, Dean?
It is a good hoot and holler game.
That's right. Game?
That's what we can say in Tennessee.
So, Cosmic Run, all of the games that he has, it's he is known, as Dan King calls him, the king of the filler. 30 minutes or less, fairly involved, not from a rule standpoint, from a thinking standpoint. I mean, Biblios is probably my favorite game that he's done, but I haven't played Regeneration yet. But man, Biblios, every time I play it, my brain is just like, I'm just thinking and thinking, and it doesn't feel like it was 30 minutes. And that sounds bad. I don't mean it. I don't mean that it feels overly long. I mean that I feel like I had a full meal, Yeah. Even though it's just
little games like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And this one does that. I agree with that.
Yeah. I was super glad that he sent that to us, because it was good. I think I like Biblios a little better too, but this is up there.
Patrick stumped me here. Broke Down by Slade Cleaves. Anybody? No.
I got nothing. No. We're failing you, Patrick. Sorry.
Yeah. That's tough. All right, so that is Cosmic Run Regeneration. Dr. Finn's got a couple of new things coming out with some new games, and I like the shift where his early games maybe lacked a little bit in terms of artwork. Now he seems to be bringing in heavy hitters like Beth Sobel or other people to make these beautiful games. So you got his genius at making quick playing, thinky filler games, or tapas games, as Steve calls them. Little tapas, a couple of tapas things before you start your big meal. And then he's bringing in the beautiful components. Because let's face it, as you guys talked about on the podcast recently, for people like me and Dean, we got to have the pretty, man. John,
that's right.
We got to have the pretty, man.
It's exactly right. I'm super shallow, so...
Give me some wooden pieces and a cardboard. I don't care. Dean, he has to have it all pretty. You've got to have the minis. You got to have the tapestry minis and all of that to please him.
Can't you have good gameplay and good components? I mean, I want both. That's all right.
Speaking of both,
yes.
BJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guests here, John and Dean from MeepleTown. Tang Garden is a game that I have not played in physical form. I only played it online, but even online, I could tell, man, this thing looks stunning. And John, isn't the most important thing having a stunning game on the table?
Not necessarily, but I agree with Dean. Like, I'm not saying that components don't matter, because if you can get that really nice combination, and that is this game. This game actually does have some really nice thinky decisions, and it is beautiful. Now you do have like the stand-up things on the edges, and you do have to kind of get up and like look around certain times.
Yeah.
And that would be the only negative. But when you're done, you feel like, oh my gosh, we just built this beautiful garden, and it's cool.
Dean, what's Tang Garden about?
So Tang Garden is a tile placement game, and on your turn, you're either going to take a tile and place it into the garden. So essentially, you are trying to build up this beautiful garden so that people will come in and judge you, and you get points for that. Yep. So you can either place a tile to build the garden, or you can place decorations in the garden, and all of those things are just going to give you points, and they're going to move you up on your different tracks. That's really the gist of it. The gameplay is actually super simple. But when you get into it, it becomes a pretty complex, thinky game without a lot of rules, if that makes sense. It kind of feels like Carcassonne and then some other stuff onto that. But
my favorite part of the game, when it comes from a mechanic standpoint, is those crunchy, juicy decisions when you're staring at cards that you really want to keep because they have a cool special power.
Yes.
Yep.
But at the end of the game, I'm scoring points here. But at the end of the game, you're only going to score points if you move it to the graveyard or to the tombstone or to the memorial garden, whatever it is. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, I can't remember the call. Yeah.
You basically retire. And I think, John, you actually talked about on the show, there is a game that has that mechanic, and I can't think of what it is.
It drove me insane, and I still can't remember what it is, but it's
Chat Crew. It's a game that you get a special benefit, but only as long as you hold the card, and eventually you have to put it into the graveyard to score points at the end of the game. And for the life of me, I can't think of that game. And it didn't come out that long ago. It's only within the last couple of years. So if the chat crew has some ideas.
Steve's saying Elysium, but it's been so long since I played Elysium. I can't really remember.
Yes. Matthew Dunstan game where in Elysium you've got the Greek gods, right? Greek gods.
Right.
And you're trying to chain up the effects on them. At some point, though, you got to bring them down to your Elysium. That's a good one there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Hey, BJ, have you played Foothills?
No.
Okay, that's
the Broadway
that's my jam. That's my jam. But you do that in Foothills where you have action-based cards, but then you can get rid of one and it goes to the in-game scoring. But now you can't do that action anymore. Those are just fun decisions. You know what I mean? That's my favorite part of Tang Garden.
If I had a complaint about Tang Garden, I think Dean, you were kind of hinting about it, or maybe it was John, one of you, that at least from tabletop simulator standpoint, and I don't know about it in person, it was really hard to see certain of the elements. They kind of blocked your view, and I'm always rotating and shifting and zooming in and rotating and shifting. And I forget which one it was. It was the trees or the platforms that were really, really tricky to see around. What was it like playing it from a physical standpoint?
Same thing. I think John mentioned this. I'm pretty sure we probably both mentioned this in the podcast, in the review of this. I don't complain about things being overproduced. I think this might be slightly overproduced because of that very thing. Seeing around the trees, seeing around the pavilions is pretty difficult. I know. I'm sorry. Forgive me for this, guys.
I'm pulling you over to my side, Dean. Come on.
I know it. But I mean, hey, I still love
foreign words. He's using this foreign language. I don't know what this means. What overproduced? I have no idea. Hey, listen, if Tapestry is not overproduced, then no game is overproduced. None.
That's right.
And I like Tapestry. But
top 5 game for me. I love it.
Those builds of all time?
What?
Of all time? Top 5 of all
last
time?
year, you mean, right?
Oh, no, this will be a top 5 game of all time for me. Tapestry will be. Tapestry, not Tang Garden. Yeah.
We're getting the scoop on the show.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
I thought we've had this discussion before. This game is amazing. Tang Garden is, but Tapestry is incredible. I love it.
Okay. So we're just to be clear, it's Tapestry that's top 5 of all time, not Tang Garden. But we did thoroughly enjoy Tang Garden.
We both gave it good reviews.
Or both of them top 5.
No. Tang Garden's not top 5, but it's excellent.
Tang Garden looks really good. I'm sorry that I missed the Kickstarter. I remember the Kickstarter, but I just didn't really take a close look at it. It's right up my jam. It's got tile laying, it's got special powers, and it looks awesome on the table. So I can't wait to try it. Nick says
crushed it too. I think like almost $1 million or something like that.
It was like 800 and something pounds, 1,000 pounds. Yep. That's insane.
Jordan says, hey, wish he could listen live, but he's got to record his own podcast.
Hey, Jordan. Good to see you, man.
Hello.
It's going to be up later on. Our buddy Chris Strain, man, we're throwing some good signals out to him. Chris is the designer of Asking for Troubles. We love to hang out with him at conventions. Got some foot problems. Chris, hang in there, man. And we need to get you back on the show, Chris. So you guys, either one of you played Asking for Troubles yet? No?
I haven't.
I've not, no.
Super, super engaging. Easy to teach worker placement game. You're looking for that first worker placement game to teach anybody, Asking for Troubles, and it plays up to 7. So how many worker placement games? And it plays up to 7 as well as it plays up to 3. So
I've seen this. It looks interesting. I'll have to check it out.
And if enough people start buying it and playing it, Chris has more content. We could get more content for it, which would be beautiful. All right, so that is Tang Garden. 2 thumbs from thumbs up from all 3 of us, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guests here, Dean and Jon from MeepleTown, and we're talking spicy hot games. But before we get to some spicy hot games, give us the background. I haven't found if there is an episode 0. Where did MeepleTown start? How do you guys? Steve and I have a bet, and I'm not going to tell you which way we're betting.
Oh no,
we have a bet as to how long you guys have actually known each other.
Oh, this is great. I want to hear your answers on this.
Okay, well, Steve's not on
the show. You have to figure it out, Dean.
So Steve's guess is that, wow, they sound like brothers that have been knowing each other forever. And my guess is y'all met about a year before you started the podcast.
You crushed it. You knocked it out of the park. Probably exactly a year, actually, I think.
Actually, Steve was on that trail too. So I gotta get it.
We knew about each other and I think had a few conversations because we ran in kind of some similar circles. But you're right, Dean. Has it only been a couple years? It feels like 10 centuries.
Maybe closer to 2, somewhere between 1 and 2 years before we started the podcast. But it wasn't like we didn't know each other our whole lives for sure.
My second bet is how you met. Is this true? That Jon was the backup singer for Sister Hazel, got sick, and Dean had to cover for him one night.
He wishes. That's pretty close. Yeah, I think so. So was that the only guess?
That's the only guess.
That's it. Nailed it.
Yes.
How did you guys meet and decide to start a podcast?
It was not board game related at all, actually.
No.
We know each other through church and not through board gaming. It was only through that relationship through church that we were like, we figured out that we like board games. And Jon is actually kind of newer to the hobby. I mean, he was playing games before he and I met, but I had really dove headfirst into the hobby. And I think when John and I started playing games together, it just kind of went from there that we decided to start something.
I remember sitting in his office and I'm just like, dude, I really want to do a podcast. And we started talking about board games. You're like, let's do a board game podcast. I still remember that day. And Dean's right. I've played games for years, Puerto Rico and stuff like that. But it wasn't until we got talking about the podcast that I started going insane on board games. I had my collection, but I didn't have 150 games or, whatever, which isn't really that much.
John, I got to break it to you. You're the only one. All the rest of us are normal. We have like 4 or 5 games. You're the only one with that many games. I promise.
I'm capping. My collection is capped at 150. You're out if you're not in the top 150. That's
a good philosophy. Hey, Mick and Starla checking in. What's up, Mick? From Our Family Plays Games. Yes, I think these two, Dean and John, would tell you need to get Starla to play Tapestry. Thumbs up.
Yeah, right? You totally do.
Well, I don't want to keep Chris waiting. So BJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guests here, Dean and John from MeepleTown. We're talking spicy hot games that they played. I know nothing about this game, so I am all ears. I am ready to believe you. Tell me about Nevada City.
Oh, all right. I'll start with this one because this was one, y'all, that as soon as I saw it came out, first of all, I'm a huge Rio Grande Games fan. In fact, on our last podcast, or one that's releasing tonight, we did our top 5 Rio Grande games of all time because I'm a huge fan. So I see they come out with this, and the box is beautiful. I'm like,
I like the cover.
Even though I'm a mechanic guy, I do get drawn in by covers. I do get drawn in by art. And so I was really, really hype on this game. A couple interesting things. So you're building a town and you're building buildings with cards. So it's a worker placement game. But as the game progresses, there you see the cards. As the game progresses, new worker placement spots are opening as people are building them. If you see the characters down there on the bottom, one of the interesting pieces of this game is those characters have a certain amount of action. So when it's your turn, you send your character with however many actions. There's one there with 4. Some of them have 1. Some of them have 2. And you send those out one at a time. So you just do all of your actions and it goes to your next player. And then also all the players have skills, which is interesting. So if you're building a building that requires 2 masonry, if they have a masonry skill, you only have to pay 1. So that's kind of cool. And then also when you build the building, you don't have to pay to use it. So if it's a building that produces lumber, you can get lumber for free for the rest of the game. And if Dean wants to use it, you got to pay me. So that's
New Bedford is one of my favorite games of all times, and it's got that mechanic. Sometimes you build a building not necessarily because you want to use it. I want you guys to use it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that mechanic.
Yeah, I do too. That was I love that too. Do you have anything you want to say about any of that, Dean?
Yeah, no, that's the gist of the game. But we were both kind of meh overall on this one. Yeah. Unfortunately, we both had John especially had really high hopes for this one, and it's really long for one. So a 2-player game takes about 2 to 2.5 hours. I saw Man vs. Meeple said a 3-player game took him about 3.5 hours the first game, and so about an hour a player roughly, or maybe even a little more. And then they have these event cards that can really hose you. They can be really. One of them, for example, is you play a poker game, but what happens is you have this pot of money, you put in $1 and then the board game puts in $6 or something like that. So you're playing for $8 and John draws a card and I draw a card and whoever has the highest card wins that pot of money. And I'm just like, that's not poker, that's war. Like it's so there's some really frustrating event cards like that.
Can you mitigate what happens to you with the event cards?
Not in that, no.
Some of them.
No, they're not all like that. Some of them are, everybody has to pay taxes on things, or players might take wounds, which means you have to take off one of those little cylinders off your character so you have one less action. And some of that can be mitigated too. But the ones that can't be mitigated can just be so frustrating, like flip the table frustrating. And I'm not that guy when I play games. But
so, chat crew, what you heard was the classic turn, right? They started out, the game is beautiful. We had so many cool mechanics. It was it was terrible. Like what?
Yeah, hey Steven, yeet. Yes, that is your MeepleTown cred.
Yeet.
Showing his cred.
We learned what yeet meant during a podcast episode.
So, Tom, are those player screens and is there hidden information during the game?
No, that is literally the marker for what player you are. That giant thing serves no purpose except to say I'm the yellow player or the blue player.
That's hilarious that you thought that it was a player screen though, because they are so big. That's really funny.
I was so disappointed when I found out it didn't do anything except for the people who I was.
So just judging by the artwork and by the pictures that I got from the publisher, I was thinking this was sort of like a Western Legends because I heard poker, I heard, moving around stuff, but I don't really see a board. I'm not really getting a Western Legends vibe at all.
It's not. No, it's more of just a kind of a worker placement game, right, Dean?
Building up buildings like Western buildings.
Buildings are coming. Some more buildings are showing up. And
no sandboxy thing where you're going around robbing trains and doing things like that, right?
No, you're basically building buildings and fulfilling contracts and building things on your farm to score victory points. It's nothing crazy.
You can't see it from the picture either, but the board, I think, I didn't measure it, but I'm pretty sure it's 4 feet long.
Yes.
By like 4 by 1. Yeah.
That'll make Chris Strain happy because he loves those big boards. But he says event cards are a designer trap. Christian says it feels like you're creating a theme, but you often end up creating player frustration.
True.
Sounds like what you guys experienced.
Yeah. It is, but I like event cards in certain games, like Starfares, Catan Starfares. I like the event cards in that because you can kind of prep yourself a little bit for them. In this game, you can't really prep yourself. You can somewhat for some of the event cards, but some of them are just, total randomness.
So I play a lot of a game called Ulm. I don't know if either one of you have played Ulm. If you like dry soulless themeless Euros, that's my
John would love it. Then.
Yeah, John. Ulm. Check out Ulm. In fact, John,
I will.
If you're on BGA, we'll play it together, man. I don't know if you're But what I like about Ulm, Steve doesn't like the event cards. They're called tower tiles. As you build up the cathedral, you got to deal with this event card each round. But what I like about it is they tell you what's coming up. Sort of like in Tricarion, where you're dealing with the prophecies that are coming. You see them coming. So it's your fault if you know this card is coming up and you haven't taken care of yourself.
It's true.
If that's not what's present in Nevada City.
You can kind of do that here, though, Dean. And we didn't talk about that in the podcast. There is a worker placement spot that lets you look at the cards and then rearrange them.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and we should have maybe used that a little bit more. Here's the thing. I'm usually the one that doesn't like randomness, but I don't mind the event cards as much in this game. Dean really doesn't like them. I'm just whatever. So there you go.
Somebody just made a good comment about the Orleans one where you can see, right? Like you see what it is and then it happens at the end of the round. I like that too, where you can prepare for it through that entire round.
I agree with that.
That's a good point.
That's good.
All right. So Nevada City, we're not getting thumbs up on that one.
BJ, I want to really like this game. And so does Dean. There were some mechanic pieces that are so fun, some really interesting decisions. Overall, to me, it just feels a little rough around the edges. And it plays too long, man. I can play a 2.5 hour long game if I'm totally engaged the whole time. If I'm playing Terraforming Mars and all these things are changing and we're seeing all this. In this game, it just feels kind of like you're doing a lot of the same stuff. You're getting some new buildings, but they're just making things cheaper. You're still doing the same thing over and over. And by an hour, if it was an hour and a half, I would say thumbs up on this game probably. But when it goes into that 2.5 hour, it's okay.
For what it is. Yeah, for what it is. Mm-hmm.
Nevada City, if you like beautiful games that play too long, have too much randomness, and you can't mitigate the damage from the event cards, this is the game for you.
It's not
That's
that
quite
bad.
The pitch.
It's not that bad. It really isn't. But
I can see the designer sitting across from I don't know who runs Rio Grande, but he used to be I can't think of his name now. Jay Tumbleson. So he's looking across Jay. It plays too long. It's got you can't mitigate the luck. No, I don't think that was. BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guests here, Dean and John from MeepleTown, and we're talking spicy hot games and serendipity. We've both played the same game from our friend Carla Kopp. It's Roaring Right. It's a roll and write version, a rando writer of Steve Aramini's game Animal Kingdoms, and you guys got a chance to play it. Tell me all about it.
All right, is it my turn? Okay.
You like this game more than I do.
I'm straight up front. I'm going to say I love this game, actually. I think this game is great. So this game, you are rolling a communal set of dice, 6 dice that are rolled, and then everybody is going to look at those numbers and they're going to write the numbers down into their council spots. And so essentially, thematically, you are trying to get the votes so that you can be like the king of the animal kingdom or something like that. So you write your numbers down. You're going to do that 3 times, and you're going to get points for lots of different things. You're going to be getting points for filling up that whole row in the first round or second round, you get points for that. You get points for the numbers that you put down, matching those up to a card, and they're going to have certain objectives. Like if you have all different numbers, you're going to get a certain amount of points, or if you have all the same numbers, you're going to get the same amount of points, or sets or whatever, runs, and lots of different things. There's also a section at the top of the board, which I think is called like the kingdom section of the board. And everyone's going to have the same
5 spots or 6 spots,
right?
Whatever they are, yeah.
Right. And so that's like, 2 pairs or high to low or something
all
like
8
that.
spots on the board. Remember that one on the bottom? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So if you just fill up those spots, and those are going to give you points if you complete one of those areas, and everyone has their own secret objectives. And so lots of ways to score points. And the thing I really like, and you play through 5 rounds of that, I think,
correct,
and then just add up your points. The thing I like about this is I've got family members that really enjoy quicks and really enjoy Yahtzee, myself included. I really enjoy Yahtzee still, and quicks. But am I getting a stank eye on that from
Yahtzee?
I know, I can't
I
help
want to
it.
thank my guests, Dean and Jon, for joining us on Gumbo Live.
I know. Yahtzee is actually, it's one of my, it's a good roll and write game, I think. Now I've lost all credibility for roar and write, but my family members that like
the
Yahtzee.
chat crew went really silent.
Sorry guys, sorry. Somebody back me up on this one. It's a good game.
I played Yahtzee. It's definitely a game. All right.
It's one that I grew up with. Okay, but quicks, really simple roll and write games that I've got family members that love those games. And this is a step up from that I think I can get a lot of my family to play this. And you can play as many players as you want. And it's all simultaneous play. There's no downtime or anything. So
I like that.
I love it. I've really enjoyed my plays of this one.
John?
Yeah. I'm not a huge roll and write fan, to be real. But I thought I was pleased by this game. I really was. Like I played it, and I went, you know what? That was actually pretty solid. I could definitely see bringing it out, especially what Dean said. If people like quicks and some of those games like that, there you go. Yahtzee
nailed it. Thank you, Chris. I like you.
Killing me, Christian.
It's a lighter. It's a lighter roll and write game, but it provides some interesting decisions. I did enjoy the game, and I would tell you if I didn't.
So here's the thing. I love roll and writes. I did not like Yahtzee growing up. This is not gamer snob, looking back on it. I really didn't like Yahtzee growing up. Yeah. I never could put my finger on why I didn't like Yahtzee. Now I know. It's literally just filling in boxes. There's no special powers. It's completely a luck fest. I'm sure there's some strategy in it, but I didn't see the strategy at age 7 for sure. So, and then you get all these new modern roll and write games, and they're awesome. They bring in all these different mechanics. And what I love about what Carla has done with this one is it's relatively simple to teach. Yeah, Steve and I have some private problems with it. That's all going to be fixed, I think, in the Kickstarter. She usually cleans all that stuff up with the rules. But the game itself is relatively simple to teach. There's just 3 areas you got to teach. And once people figure out the 3 areas, the game runs smooth after that. Mm-hmm. I love the quick play that everybody's in all at the same time. And you're just kind of looking at each other. Not a lot of player interaction, which is fun in a roll and write, but not to me, it's not a make or break deal with a roll and write. Doesn't have to have player interaction, right?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I think it's just like, especially because it's such a quick game, if you can get a big group of people to play a game in like 15 minutes.
Thomas, when someone comes out with that, I'm with you. I'm backing it.
It's coming.
It's going to break $1 million.
Some designer is watching this right now, and they're taking that challenge.
Here we go. We're going to lose the chat crew again. They're going to go off on this tangent here. So, yeah, no, I really liked it. Kudos to Carla Kopp. I think she's getting better and better in her designs. And Animal Kingdom's Roar and Write. Number 1, it's a great freaking name. Roar and Write is such a cool name. Yeah,
you have to say Roar and Write. I think.
Ooh, not much voice left, but yeah, I really do like it. Love the art on the cards. I love all the ways that the different numbers play together. And the second I played it solo a couple of times now. I played it with Steve one time. I think it was with Steve one time, and the numbers didn't actually meld perfectly. So you're having to make big decisions. Wow, am I going to go for this set here, which kind of combos up with what I'm doing at the top, or am I going to go for this big 15-point total instead and just try to bust it? So I like those little quick decisions. And overall, I think that the more you play it, I bet you can get this game down. No matter how much what the play count is, it doesn't matter. But I bet you get this game down to easily under 30 minutes every time you play it.
Oh, sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Dean, how long was we did the video? How long was our video? Do you remember?
I don't. It's somewhere in the 20 something minutes, I think. Yeah, that's that. I think that includes our thoughts too. So it's probably like 20-minute gameplay or something like that.
That is Roaring Right coming out from Galactic Raptor Games, not Weird Giraffe Games, coming out with Galactic Raptor Games. That's her and Dan's little company. And that should be coming out on June 30th. So we're looking forward to that. BJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guests here, Dean and Jon from MeepleTown. And I got in a game a couple of days ago and was able to get in, again, not a live play. Well, it's live, but it was on Tabletopia. But I got to play Rap Godz. Here's the background story. Hamu Dennis is actually from New Orleans. That's one of the brothers. Omari and Hamu are brothers. And Hamu came to our Southern Board Game Fest last year. He demoed their newest game, not Rap Godz, because that was already, the Kickstarter was already done. But I was super excited to get it. Finally got my copy in. Have you guys played Rap Godz or have heard about it?
I'm actually super pumped to hear you talk about it because I've been wanting to play this one.
It was designed. The theme was designed based on me.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think that's true.
Nice. I don't think so. I think it's based on other things, but I'll go with that. Rap Godz, quick hit on it. Rap Godz is, as you can see, I've got a little picture of it there. Rap Godz is a scoring game based on building out sort of a tableau, although they kind of stack up, but basically collecting cards to score points. That's the basic simple part of the game. But one of the cool things is the way that the actions play out. You're going to get 5 cards in your hand, and then you got a big decision to make. Are you going to play that card to your tableau, what they call your album? Play, and you have 3 different albums as you play the 3 different ages of the game. And when you play that card, you're going to get stuff back. And that's what that center wheel is. It's not a rondelle. It's actually a scoring track for all of the, what we could call resources in the game, but it's skills. I forgot the other 2 things, but it's represented by Mike, and it's represented by moving play, streets, skills, and something else. And as you're building those up, you're trying to hit those little milestones as you go around the record. All of those milestones from the cards also play into those. See those silver discs in the upper left-hand corner? They all play into those. And what's neat is that every single game, except for one, they're all going to be different. So sort of like in what's that Aqua game that I love? Anyway, Aquatopia.
Aquasphere?
Man, I'm drawing a blank here. Love that game.
Anyway, while you're thinking, I'm going to say Topher Cartographers is great. It's one of my favorite roll and writes. So,
all right, there it is. Cartographers. I liked it.
You didn't like it as much.
Yeah, I really not as much. Not as much. I see people getting really distracted drawing monsters. So I think it's a good solid game. It's a good game. I kind of like Welcome to a little better. I don't know, but getting back to Rap Godz, you're trying to score points. So the decision comes in those 5 cards. You only got 5 cards that you're going to play. You're going to draw one each round to add to your hand, and then play one to the tableau. Very simple mechanic. Just like a lot of games. Draw a card, play a card. But those cards on the right-hand side of the board, all of those are way more powerful. The only way to get those is you got to dump 3 cards out of your hand. So am I going to play the small, cheapy little cards and slowly build up my cred, slowly build up my street skills, and try to get all these points? Or I'm going to go for broke and get that big card? Because once you go for broke and for the big card, after that, you're almost top decking because your hand is so small. So cool. What I like about it is, for a first-time gamer's design, it's very smooth. As we say, that elegant word that we throw around, it's very smooth. There's no hiccups. There's no, why did they do this part? But it's light. So I want to warn people, if you're looking at that board going, oh, wow, this is the next Captains of the Gulf, it's not going to have that much complexity to it. It's going to be a lot, this is not a Vital Lacerda game. So that's not a knock on the game at all. A lot of people don't like those games. Most of the people that I play with on Friday nights, they want a game that's in that medium to medium light category. And I think both of you guys enjoy games when they're well done, right?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't like games when they're well done? Okay, did you say Hamu is the one who did the art on this?
No, I think they're both the designers. I don't remember who the artists are. I could click on it, though.
I just clicked on it. Maybe I left there. Whoever did the art, good grief, that's a beautiful board. It kind of looks busy, but man, it just looks fantastic, I think. Yeah, it is. Hamu is listed as the artist.
Oh, okay. So I didn't realize that Hamu did the artist. That's right. So I will tell you this about the art. So the art on the cover, amazing. The art on the individual player cards, amazing. The board is very busy when you get to it. And I would be okay with that because he has this big, beautiful album in the middle that you do the scoring, right? Lots of busy stuff on the outside, big, beautiful one. But the cards themselves are also coming from the boards and onto your tableaus. So you got busy cards on top of a busy board. Carlos, who's one of the guy that does a lot of the graphic design for the Gumbo, he's like, man, a simple black border or some kind of standout border, or even taking out a little bit on the cords, would have made the rest of the artwork pop. This is not a big. We're really talking picky and complaints because that board is really cool to look at.
Yeah, it really is. I want to check this one out. That sounds great.
It's getting a lot of love on the social medias, and I think I know why. It's got great art. It's got a different theme. The two things we don't have enough in board gaming is we don't have enough games like this about street life and also trading in the Mediterranean. We need more games where you can.
I agree with you, BJ.
Wow, you get gaming. I mean, it's uncanny.
The more they have, the better. All right, so that's Rap Godz from Board Game Brothers. It's out. It's available. You can pick it up. And guess what? They've got kind of a follow-up coming up pretty soon, or they're working on right now, all about basketball. I think it's called Basketball Godz or Hoop Godz, something like that. It's been play testing very, very well. So I'm excited. I'm disappointed that they're not going to be at our Southern Board Game Fest this year because the Corona postponed our festival. But hopefully we can get it back next year. And that is Rap Godz.
Very cool.
All right. I've got John and Dean on the show. John and Dean, this is a board game show. And you know what that means, right?
It means we talk about things that aren't related to board games, right?
Just like our podcast.
We got to play a board game on a board game show, right?
Yes. All right.
I've got a surprise for you. I've got my buddy Alex Goldsmith from the Dukes of Dice. He's in the
I love
house.
Dukes of Dice. Hey, Alex.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We were actually talking about the Dukes. Dean, I don't know about John, but Dean's actually listening to the podcast, Alex.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
He's a member of the Duchy.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
So are we by ourselves tonight, Alex?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
So let me provide a little context here. We're coming into this one with two strikes, gentlemen. One, for context, BJ asked us to participate in this game. I suggested that playing the classic game Heartthrob would be a ton of fun. I don't know if either you or John or Dean, if you've played this game. Heartthrob is amazing, fantastic.
Every day.
Yeah. Now, that being said, Abby loves that game. So I asked Abby a few weeks ago, hey, would you like to play Heartthrob on BJ's show? And she's like, absolutely. I didn't tell her the time we'd be playing. And Abby is not so much of a late night owl. She's many wonderful things, but she does not enjoy staying up late. So 9:15 at this point, we're definitely pushing it. So that's strike one. Strike two came about and she doesn't know this part yet. But I looked at the actual game that BJ has set up for us in advance about 30 minutes ago. And I was like, oh, this could be very interesting. For reasons we'll discuss as we get into the game itself when it's described, BJ. Because this is not, Abby, this is not Heartthrob, but a twist on Heartthrob.
This is Duet Etouffeighties. Duet Etouffeighties.
Duet Etouffeighties. There's Abby.
Hey, what's up, Abby?
Hey.
Hello. I wore my nicest pajamas for the event.
This is perfect. It's going out to millions of watchers. So
yeah.
I just feel comfortable about that. So we are going to play a brand new game that we call Duet Etouffeighties. But tonight it's a special edition for Dean and for John, who recently had an 80s movie night or a movie challenge. We're going to call this one the Etouffeighties. Etouffeighties? Yeah, Etouffeighties game night.
Nailed it.
That's great.
This is how it's going to work. We're going to play 3 rounds. And in each round, it's similar to Board Game The Heartthrob, because I don't want to run into any copyright problems. Board Game The Heartthrob.
It's just Heartthrob. There's no bud there.
We're going to supply 4 1980s board games. We're going to tell you what those games are. And then you decide what game you would like to play and what game you think everyone else would like to play. Right? Just like Board Game The Heartthrob. But you do this secretly, okay? You're going to do this secretly, okay? We'll talk about baseball highlights another time, Topher. But that is a great game. So yeah. So do you guys have access to the host chat?
Yes.
Okay. Dean, John, host chat.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, good. So without cheating, so you cannot look at the public chat. You're going to look at the host chat whenever we're typing in the things. All right. And then don't look at everybody else's. We're just going to do this. So we'll secretly choose one of the 4 games. You're going to do, and then we're going to total up the votes. We're going to reveal them and see. You get 1 point if you can guess what the other 4 players, what game they would have played. Round 2, we're going to throw a little kink into it. And then round 3, we'll throw another kink into it, and we'll keep track of all those points as we go along. Any questions about how to play Etouffeighties?
I just want to throw out there that we frequently don't watch older movies because any movie made before Abby was born, she generally tends to not be a fan of.
Comedy.
So a piece of this.
Comedy gold. Comedy gold.
Even better.
And I want to be clear, I did not know this until about 30 minutes ago.
We now know that Alex Goldsmith does not check his emails. That's fine. We're good with that. All right. Round 1. Are you guys ready? Round 1. Everybody set.
Ready.
Yeah. My problem, Steve, is that I forgot that Dean and John were going to be on different cameras. So all of my pictures I cannot throw up there. I'm going to have to actually look at them. All right. Hold on. Just take me 1 second to get to it. So you won't see the lovely pictures that I spent gazillions of hours downloading off the internet. But
no, that's key. We need the pictures.
I don't think it will not let me show it. Okay.
You can block John. That's okay. Can you block his face? Put the pictures on there.
I could put somebody to audio. Oh, I could put myself to audio only, maybe. Yeah, let's just go with it. All right. So first game to remember, right?
This is called Heartthrob, and you just immediately just threw me under the bus, Dean. You're the worst.
It's the love for the movies and games, right? Not love for the other opponents. Is that how this game works?
Yes, you're trying to figure out. You are going to try to figure out what John, me, Abby, and Alex would play on the game night out of these 4 choices. They're all 1980s games. Number 1, Fireball Island.
Oh boy. I'm going to be pulling up image searches because we don't have images handy for Abby, so stand by.
Merchant of Venus. I wonder if I can go audio only. Oh, look at this. Can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Can y'all still hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Are we ready? Fireball Island.
Okay.
Merchant of Venus. Look at that cover, Abby. That's just made for you right there.
Yikes.
What's your initial gut on this cover?
Not Pictionary, but I'm familiar with Pictionary. Merchant of Venus looks like a really bad romance novel.
It does. Sci-fi novel from the 60s. All right. Pictionary. You should know that one. And the last one, Scotland Yard.
Ooh.
Scotland Yard. All right. So type them all in. Let's see. Oh, no. I'm changing mine. Already.
Are we typing in the one that we want to play first?
Yeah. Do yours first and then type in all the other 4 guesses.
Okay.
Oh, dang. I'm
Oh, whoops. You can't hit enter. My bad.
I'm going to change again.
What? I can't hit. Oh, did I hit enter?
Yeah, no, I did. That was, yeah.
I did too. What did I do?
Oh, don't do that. Let's see.
My bad.
Although it really doesn't matter. We're okay with that.
Hey, it doesn't.
Okay.
I would have. I know what Dean.
Any good Heartthrob player knows you have to have pen and paper.
That's the way to go.
True. That's true. Oh,
We're rookies.
all right. I've got mine locked in. Are we ready?
Yes.
Everybody's got locked in. Let's start with you, Dean. We're going to try to guess what yours was. John, what did you say for Dean?
Fireball Island. There's no doubt. He loves that game. He's played it since he was a kid.
I also said Fireball Island. Alex, Abby?
I said that Venus game.
And I went with Fireball Island as well.
All right, Dean, let us know.
That is right.
Yes.
Fireball Island for you all. Nailed
All
it.
By the way, the chat crew is going to be competing against us. They're going to try to outscore us during the game. So we'll see if they can do it. They'll see if they can do it. All right. So second up, John, what do you have for yours? No, we're going to, let's see.
You're going to
we'll
guess
start with
first,
Dean.
right?
Yeah, Dean, go ahead. What you got? for John?
I'm guessing for John. I am going to say Scotland Yard is what I had written down.
I went Merchant of Venus. Looking, I think he's going to some kind of Euro mechanics. What about you, Alex and Abby?
I said Fireball Island mainly because I don't know John. I hope to get to know John through this process. I do not currently know John. So I just kind of guessed by default Fireball Island for both and just happened to be right on one of them. So
you didn't binge listen to MeepleTown all weekend?
I did not. Sorry. As you know, I don't prepare for things.
Slacker.
That's right.
Abby?
I also guessed Fireball Island.
John, what we got?
I'm going Merchant of Venus.
Bingo. Bingo.
Listen, I've never played this. Have any of you played this before or no?
Yes.
What do you think about it, Alex?
It's good. Great pick up and deliver game.
I've heard some good things about it, so that's the only reason why.
Yeah, really good. Really good.
I have not played it yet either. I'd like to try.
The box art is pretty dope too, so I'm down with that.
All right, Alex, you're up. So let's start with Dean. What do you think for Alex?
So Alex, I actually put Fireball Island.
John?
I did the same.
I had Scotland Yard, but changed it at the last second to Fireball Island. I'm hoping I know you, Alex.
Everyone put Fireball Island. I played it. I played the new restoration version. It's all right. It's fun, but I just don't like it that much. Merchant of Venus was my pick because it's my favorite of the 5 games.
Oh wow!
After hearing you talk about it, I would have changed it, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted to be honest.
I thought you would.
This is I don't know you. You don't know me. So we're gonna go with what we're gonna do. So
I would have thought you would have gone for deduction game. That's why I went with Scotland Yard. All right, so
that was my backup pick.
Okay, so we're trying to guess Abby's now. Dean, what you got for Abby?
All right, I once again put Fireball Island because I'm going to get it at one point.
You're like picking C for all the questions on the SAT. I got it, yes. John.
I'm going Merchant of Venus because the amazing box art. She saw it. Like, I've got to play that game now.
I went with Pictionary only because she said that was the only one she recognized. So, familiar.
Context clues.
Alex, the pressure is on. How well do you know Abby?
I hopefully well, and I went with Pictionary.
I picked Pictionary.
Yes. All right. Did we cover everybody? No, we got mine.
Yours, yeah.
All right, Alex, you're up. What did you pick for me?
If I were thinking a little harder, I probably would have gone with Fireball Island because that just seems to be the default answer. But I actually guessed Scotland Yard was the one I locked in on.
Okay. Abby?
Also Scotland Yard.
Dean?
Also Scotland Yard. Nailed it.
John?
Scotland Yard.
It's gotta be right.
I actually typed in Scotland Yard and changed it to Fireball Island.
Oh, you knew it, Alex.
I should have kept Scotland Yard. Fireball Island. Because the more I think about it, I've never played Scotland Yard, and I love deduction games, and I've always wanted to play it.
Oh, Scotland Yard's amazing.
It is.
I messed up.
I played it recently, within the last week or two.
Yeah.
I absolutely messed up. I should have put Scotland Yard, but I'm glad none of you guys got points. So that works out. Okay. Let's go to round 2. Abby, just like in the real game, we're going to throw a twist. So you saw those games, right? Yeah. Now we're going to go to games. Oh, and that's the 4 games. I forgot to throw that up there. Now we're going to say you're going to have some background music while you're playing the game. All right? And I can't think of a better song to play with Fireball Island than Madonna's Borderline, which, by the way, has been an earworm for 3 days since I did these stupid pictures. I can't get Borderline out of my head. Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh.
So that's number 1. So remember, you're not picking Fireball Island if you pick it for the other people. You're saying they want to play Fireball Island with Borderline in the background. Or actually, Madonna music in the background. Merchant of Venus, you're going to play with Prince in the background. All right? Pictionary, you're gonna have Public Enemy in the background, and Scotland Yard, everybody's favorite, Bon Jovi. Because if you're thinking about a deduction game, you're gonna try to figure out what the hell were they wearing in this picture. So, all right, start putting it up. What are you thinking? I've got the 4 here. You got A, B, C, or D. There's your choices. Alex, let's see. At the back, man, Alex, as much time as you and I have spent together, I don't know your musical taste. That's terrible. That is terrible.
Awful taste in music. None of these things qualify. Bit 80s music for it to be.
What did I send you? I sent you a medieval cover of Pumped Up Kicks. A medieval cover of Pumped Up Kicks. I sent that to her while she was at work.
Like I said.
John, what's the closest to Sister Hazel? Let me think. What is it?
It's got to be Public Enemy, I think, right?
Right.
Wow, this is actually tough. This is tough for me to even decide for myself.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
So are we focusing on the music, or are we saying it's the combo?
It's the combo. It's the combo.
Okay.
I got one left to do. One left to do. And I want to go with one for John because I think he's going to do it. But you know what? I'm going to do it. All right, here we go. So where are we here? Let's start with John. Let's try to guess John's here. Let's see how the we got some good comments from the chat crew. All right, so John, Dean, what did you think John picked this round?
Let's go back here. I think John picked Prince based on his style of singing during our podcast.
Interesting.
Is that right? And you want to play Merchants of Venus, so that's a good combo.
So I chose Pictionary, thinking that combo was just too much to resist.
Abby?
I also chose Pictionary.
I'm liking that too. I'm going Pictionary because your eyes lit up when we put Chuck D on there. So
here's the thing. I'm going Merchant of Venus. I'm down with Prince, but here's the thing. I don't like Pictionary at all. I hate Pictionary. So that's why, but it would be Public Enemy if it wasn't for that. So y'all were pretty spot on.
Abby was curious what you have against drawing.
Oh, I'm terrible at it. I'm so bad at drawing. This game is awful. My kids want to play Tattoo Stories. Have you ever played that? I hate that game, and they want to play it all the time.
The designer's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I won't mention that.
My kids go bananas for that game, man. They love it. And I'm just
Eric,
like,
why does John hate your game so much, Eric? Why does he hate your game so much? All right, speaking of drawing, let's go to Alex. Let's everybody try to figure out Alex's. Dean, what you got?
All right, so for Alex, I picked the Scotland Yard Bon Jovi. That's what I went with.
Okay, John?
I went with C. I went with Prince and Merchant of Venus.
I went with C also, but now I'm regretting it. He loves to sing all these crazy songs. It might have been Bon Jovi. Abby, how well do you know Alex Goldsmith?
Not very. I picked the Venus game.
What did you pick?
Oh man,
what did she pick?
She picked Merchant of Venus.
Okay, all right, give it to us, Alex.
No, so in my car I have two main music stations. I have a 90s station, and I have an 80s hair metal station on Sirius XM. And so my answer will be Scotland Yard and Bon Jovi.
Dang it.
Nailed it. I am killing it this round.
In high school, I was in an 80s hair metal band, and we used to throw glitter on stage. It was pretty awesome.
We played Europe for an 8th grade prom one time. I forgot the name of that song by Europe. It's the final countdown. That's it. That's the one. All right, so we did Alex. Abby, your turn. Let's try to guess. John, what do you think Abby picked?
I think she picked D. I think she's going to stick with Pictionary and go with Public Enemy.
Dean?
I also picked D.
I'm going Pictionary also, but I'm curious to hear what Alex says.
But I think Fireball Island Madonna combo could be pretty powerful here.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
No, everyone was wrong.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
She went with Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi. I shouldn't have done that.
I considered that one as well.
Wow. All right, I think I'm the last one. Any guesses for what mine is?
Dean, I think.
Dean.
Oh, no, Dean. Yeah, Dean. Sorry. John, what you got for Dean?
He's easy to forget about.
Yeah.
I'm going with A, man. I think that you like some Madonna, Dean. I think you can get down on some Madonna, and you really like Fireball Island. But also know you can jam around in some hair metal, but I'm going to go with A anyways.
I'm going to assume that Dean has seen Purple Rain 50 times, and he's going with C, Merchant of Venus and Prince. Alex?
So I'm kind of putting John and Dean in the same as like a Gene or a Don. I'm just kind of combining them. So it's Pictionary because I thought John would pick Pictionary. So obviously Dean's going to pick Pictionary too.
I went with the Fireball.
Fireball. All right, Dean, let us know. Fireball.
You all whiffed. Wow. You all whiffed. It was Scotland Yard with Bon Jovi. Yeah, that was the only one that was
picked. When I was talking, I knew I picked the wrong one. That's what I was thinking, but oh well.
I honestly, like, this could have been any of them for me, though. I really like all of those music choices.
Dang it.
Abby thinks you missed an opportunity with Fireball Island and Pitbull.
Yeah.
That would have been a good one. Yep. Fireball. That's Chris Kirkman's thing.
Yeah, I know, but like you could have like let the theme die for like a good fun.
We are all in, all the way. We're going in for the shtick. All right. Last round. Here's your chance to make up some points. Steve, oh, we didn't do mine yet? Oh, sorry. Any guesses, John?
I'm going B for you.
Okay. Dean?
I also went B.
Alex?
B.
Abby?
I went with the Madonna that you had stuck in your head for 3 days.
That would have been a good choice.
I
am a huge Prince fan. It's C for me. Yeah. We used to play Purple Rain. I know. I've seen that movie 50. I was describing me, Dean. I've seen that movie 50 times. So
I've actually never seen it before.
Oh, dang it!
But I need to.
I was projecting then. All right, let's go to round 3, and here it is. We're gonna play a game. We're gonna play it with background music, and it's gonna be the perfect foursome of 80s heroes. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So in the first one, you could have David from the Lost Boys, your Winona Ryder's character. I can't remember her name. And of course, Spicoli.
Against Winona. What did she ever do to you?
I'm just forgetting her name, though. Is it Liza? What is her name?
In what? In Edward Scissorhands?
No, this is in Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Oh, Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Sorry, I'm looking close. Yeah, I can't remember her name in that. I love that movie, Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah.
Lydia
Dietz. Lydia Dietz. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Lydia Dietz. All right. So that's what we got there.
Is it all the characters from Beetlejuice?
Yeah,
no, that's your perfect foursome. You got David from Lost Boys, Lydia, and Spicoli. That's your foursome. Okay. Next up,
all right.
You're playing Merchant of Venus. You've got Prince in the background, and you've got Alex. No, not Alex. What was his name in Back to the Future?
Michael J. Fox. Oh,
yeah.
Marty McFly.
Marty McFly.
Okay.
You've got can't remember her name, and I can barely see the picture. From Pretty in Pink. Yeah, Pretty in Pink.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald. And who is the third one there? What is that? Oh, of course. It's Meg Ryan from When Harry Met Sally. Who doesn't want to play a board game? Right? All right, so that's choice number 2. Number 3 is Scotland Yard with Bon Jovi, and this is the action heroes.
This is good.
Oh boy,
really unusual loners in the first one, and then the second one we had, the people next door, and now we got the action heroes. We got Scotland Yard, John Bon Jovi, Indiana Jones. You got Ridley. What's her name? Ridley?
Yeah, from Alien.
Yeah, Alien. Yeah, character's name.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, that was the director. But what was her name in the?
I'm sorry.
And of course, John McClane from Die Hard. Ripley, not Ripley. All right, so that's choice number 3. You got your action heroes, and number 4. You got to have the funny people at your table, right? You got Pictionary, Public D. You got Public Enemy. You have Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop. You have, of course, Bill from Ghostbusters, and Adrian Cronauer, which is Robin Williams from Good Morning Vietnam. So you got 3 funny men.
Are you with the actors or are you with the characters?
You're with the actual characters.
The characters.
Yes.
Okay.
Kelly has Sigourney Weaver. You're not playing with Sigourney. You're playing with Ripley. All right. So you're playing with Ripley. So let's go over those again. A, Fireball Island, and you've got all those loners. B, Merchant of Venus, and you've got your people next door. C, you've got the action here. No, C is the comedy gold, and D is your action heroes.
The other way around. D is comedy. C is action. Looks like.
Uh-oh, did I mess up my picture there?
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. Oh, I see. I get it now. Yeah. The order is just different. Okay, I'm on board.
I screwed up the order, huh? Yeah, sure did. Okay, we'll just go with these as the letters. All right.
Yep.
All right, so let's figure it out. This is for all the points. Right now, it looks like BJ's got 3, Abby's got 0, Alex has 2, John's got 1, and Dean's got 2. So it's anybody's game in this one. Anybody's game.
We know each other so well.
I see that. I see that. What am I playing?
Like the best friends.
Is this the way that Heartthrob actually goes? Is this
Heartthrob is somehow way easier to guess?
So much easier to guess.
Hang on.
Strictly hideous men from the 80s with awful personality traits, and you just have to pick which personality traits you're most willing to put up with. It's great.
Excellent.
Judging people purely off of like very little information. Everyone's good at that game. This is
this is nonsense.
That's what it's supposed to be. Oh man, John, I'm struggling on yours, man.
Yeah,
I'm going with.
I'm struggling on mine.
I'm going with the hint you gave me with your eyes. Could that work? Could that possibly work?
Go for it. Stare deeply into my eyes. All right, I know what I'm going for, I think.
Dean, I have no clue, man. I'm gonna just pick a letter. Let's see.
I'm not sure with Dean either. He, whenever he says stuff like Yahtzee, he just throws this randomness sometimes.
I know.
Make sure you're like, what?
What?
No. I think that is the public opinion is that Yahtzee is a great game.
All right. You did get one backup vote. You did get one backup vote for that. All right, here we go.
Actually, he said he owns the game. He didn't say he liked it. So, oh my goodness. Wow.
The name father is flattered that Abby expected more than nonsense from this show. Yes, exactly right. And you're right. I didn't include any train games.
But like, it's just nonsense. The game is nonsense.
I know. I wish
That's
you were
the best
more
kind of
like.
game.
I wish you were more, well designed and elegant like Heartthrob, the board game. Unfortunately,
You just
There you go.
That's
Right.
it.
Frankie.
You might have Derek in the mix.
He's quite the heartthrob.
You might have Paul. See if you can find Trevor.
Paul was on every 80s sitcom that I ever watched.
Oh, yep.
There's Trevor.
Got a guy and a dog.
Trevor.
Okay, but this is in every game I've ever played at this.
Oh yeah.
Look at that! Look at those locks.
Just saying. That's Heartthrob.
I feel like you're gonna pull out a picture of Mario Lopez in there. Does he exist in that game?
He does not.
Okay.
Are you secretly saying that you love Mario Lopez, Dean?
If he was one of the picks, maybe. If any.
And by the way, really quick, Yahtzee is rated 5.4 on BGG. So
wow, that high? Wow. All right, here we go. Last round. Here's your chance. Don Lyles. Don's got it. Vinkman, Kromauer, and Chuck D would be an interesting pair at your table. All right, so let's go. Abby. Let's try to guess Abby's. Starting with Dean.
All right. For Abby, I put B.
And you went with B because?
I can't remember now. I can't see the picture very well, so I don't remember who was even in that picture.
It's Michael J. Fox and Pretty in Pink and Meg Ryan.
Yeah, maybe I thought that Abby made a comment about Meg Ryan. Did I make that up? Somebody made a comment about Meg Ryan.
The perfect roll and vomit. Very nice. I don't think there's dice in there, though, are there?
No dice.
All right, John, what you got for this one?
I went B too. I don't know. It was the Meg Ryan. Did she say something or not? But I just remember thinking
somebody said something about Meg
Ryan. Her and Meg Ryan. And if it's if it doesn't exist, we're gonna make it exist in this.
I didn't hear it, and I went with Merchant of Venus. So Meg Ryan, it is.
Oh, wow.
It's so funny how we're guessing all the same and we're all wrong every time.
Alex, it's all on you. How well do you know her?
Torn on this. It was not ever going to be the Action Heroes. I knew that right off the bat. It's not going to happen. Too intense. Not happening. There was a chance it was A, but there's also a chance it was B. And as I say that, it's going to be C. But I ended up with everyone.
You are all correct.
Yay!
Wow.
Meg Ryan, but apparently I just put the juju into the universe.
We know her so well. All right, very nice. All right, let's try to guess Alex's. Starting with you, Dean. What you got for Alex?
All right, for Alex, I also have B for Alex.
B
is in Bon Jovi. Except not Bon Jovi, but the letter B.
Okay, yeah. B for Prince.
That's not confusing at all.
Steve, hopefully you got that. All right, John, what you got for Alex?
I'm going D for Alex. I'm thinking he likes the 80s music, and he can stand up to some of these tough guys right here. And gal.
I threw a curveball, Alex. I hang around with Alex at conventions, and he is a very funny guy. So I thought you'd enjoyed having funny people there at the table with you. So I went with, and you know what else? He likes party games. I don't know about Pictionary, but you like party games. So I went with C, Pictionary and the funny guys. Abby, how well do you know Alex?
I said funny people.
I should have guessed that.
So I would say with the action heroes, if it's the actors, it might be a perfectly lovely game.
Yeah.
People, I don't think so. I don't think that crew.
That's a really intense game.
I know that out there. Ringa Dietz is going to be way over this, so A is probably not going to be super great either. I don't know half the characters in B anyway. So I just from being able to play with.
You've never seen When Harry Met Sally?
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah, I have seen that one. It's been a while. All right. But no, it kind of doesn't matter what the game would be, but any game with that group of people, and especially a party game, is going to be an unforgettable experience, especially with the enemy in the background. I mean, that is beautiful. Pictionary was my pick. So,
can you imagine playing Pictionary with Eddie Murphy and Robin Williams? Oh my God, man.
It'd be amazing. Unbelievable.
Wow, just think of a take that game with those action heroes in it or the loners in it. I mean, they may flip the table on you.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So who do we have left? That's Alex and Abby. John, let's try to guess John's. Okay. Dean, what you got?
All right, John, I picked D based on probably what BJ was saying, maybe your facial expressions with the action heroes there. I think you got pretty excited about that.
I went the same way. I went with D, Scotland Yard. He got excited when he saw Bruce Willis and Sigourney Weaver. So let's see what happens. Alex?
I also went Scotland Yard. I think the action hero Paul, he seems like an action kind of guy.
Abby, how well do you know John?
About as well as everyone else.
There you go.
The exact same thing.
Wow.
The group think. All right, John, what you got? Prove us right.
It's A.
It's B. Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time. If I can play with Marty McFly,
vibes in the universe.
I like Molly Ringwald because I'm into that kind of old school 80s stuff. And Meg Ryan, I could take it or leave. But
Alex, I should have known this because John is in the incorrect opinion that Back to the Future is the greatest trilogy ever made.
Of all time.
What do you wait? Hang on, I'm actually on not fully off board on this.
We have been dating like a month, and he made me spend every weekend for 3 weeks watching all the Back to the Future.
He made you, or he allowed you the glorious pleasure.
It's a dead heat between Indiana Jones and Star Wars. Clearly, dead heat.
I love Indiana Jones and Star Wars too. I do love those.
It's a dead heat. Dean?
But Back to the Future is.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
All right, so
you're forgetting about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think is that the. No, that is not a real answer.
All right, so we've done.
I would agree with Back to the Future.
We've done Alex, Abby, and John. Let's do Dean's. John, what do you got for Dean? Last chance to score some points.
Yeah, I know, and I know I'm not doing very well. And this was a really, really tough pick for me. I went ahead and I want to kind of flip now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go C for Dean with the funny men.
C for the funny man. I also went C, and for that exact reason, comedy. I would think Dean would appreciate some good comedy. Alex?
As goes John, so goes Dean. And so my guess was yet again aligned, Scotland Yard.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's the superhero one.
Superhero one. Yep. Indiana, Scotland Yard.
Whatever one that was.
Dean, what you got?
It was no question for me, C.
Yes.
If If you know, so my wife would have had no problem with this one because she knows that I am a super shallow person when it comes to TV and movie watching. I just want to be entertained. And like you said, BJ, playing Pictionary with Robin Williams and Eddie Murphy would be amazing. That would be incredible.
All right, so here's the last one. Can you guys guess mine? What is mine? Starting out with Dean.
I went with A on this one. Not sure why I picked A. I'm regretting it, but I put A. I'm going with it.
John, what'd you go?
I went C.
C. Okay, interesting.
I don't know. I don't know you.
Abby?
I don't know.
I said the one with Bruce Willis.
Oh, I love me some Bruce Willis. Love Bruce Willis. Alex?
BJ, you are a kid at heart in many ways. And I think the kid at heart in you would find the action hero potential far too cool. So I went with Scotland Yard again.
Yep. I don't like my choice. I actually picked Merchant of Venus. And the more I think about it, I would have picked C or D. I don't know which one, though. I don't know which one.
How did you end up with your bronze medal pick in all of this?
I don't know. Because I'm always the Cylon in these games. I don't know why. I talked myself out of it. I don't know why I picked it. You know what? I was a big Michael J. Fox movie fan back then. I watched all of his movies. So maybe that's what I was thinking. But no, I don't know why I picked B. It would have been C or D. It would have absolutely been C or D. So I messed you guys up on that. That was terrible. No one scored any points on the last round. Is that right?
Ooh.
No, I got
Alex's right. Everyone got mine right, so everyone got a point.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure what Steve said. All right, so the big winner tonight
ain't me.
Wait, is this right? Oh yeah. So I got 6 points all total. Alex, John, and Dean each tied with 3. And Abby, you scored 1 point. Abby, you did score a point.
Alex one time.
All right, let me see if I can get myself back up there. And that is Board Game the Heartthrob, or as we like to call it, Etouffeighties. What did you think? Something we should
Great game.
Yeah.
Loved it. Oh, yeah, that was fun.
That was awesome.
All right, well, Alex and Abby.
90s would have been better for us.
We could do that if you guys come on the show. We'll actually do that with that on there. Would you do it?
90s.
90s? I love 90s music, man. I'm a Gin Blossoms fan. I'd be happy to do the 90s.
90s music is better than 80s movies.
Yeah,
for sure.
Dean said
music,
80s movies are better, 90s music's better. And I think I agree with that.
I will agree with that. 80s movies, 90s music.
Yeah.
Unless you have Space Jam in the mix. And then if you have Space Jam in the mix, all bets are off.
Space Jam trumps all things in general. So
No. Yes, I am supposed to be the kind host. I didn't even know I was winning. I thought I was actually in last place, but apparently Steve says I won, so I'll take that. Hey, Alex, Abby, I do want to thank you guys for playing. I'm going to send you back down to the green room so I can close out the show. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
And that is the game that we like to play. We like to play a different game every week. That's our games presented by Game Toppers LLC. Make your game nights a showstopper when you play on a Game Topper. All right, guys, that's it for another episode of Gumbo Live. I want to thank my guests, Dean and John from MeepleTown, for coming in. This was a blast, man. I love your podcast. Yeah. But if people want to know, how do they get in touch with you? How do they find you guys?
That's
John's line. Yeah,
that's my line. MeepleTownGames.com. You can find all of our stuff there. But we're on, just search MeepleTown on iTunes, Google Play, all that kind of stuff. Or YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. You just look up MeepleTown. You can find us there.
Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo. It helps us get the word out about all of our upcoming guests and shows, including next week. We're supposed to have Jeremy Howard, Jambalaya Plays Games. It's the trial of the century. Who is the rightful owner of the actual game that we play on the show? Do we own it, Jambalaya Game, or does Jeremy Howard own it? We're going to find out next week if he can make it. May have some scheduling problems. If not, it'll be me and Verla and Steve bringing some toughs. I am BJ from Board Game Gumbo. Oh, I forgot to punch this thing up. Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo. And until next time, guys, laissez le bon temps rouler.